What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video of 13-year-old skater debates, skateboarding topics, even though he stinks. So, let's get into it. Yippee. I'm gonna be honest, I already recorded this video like 50 times already, so that's great. I've changed the topic multiple times. This is 10 things that skaters should never do. So let's see what we should never do, guys, because I'm kind of unskilled and stuff. Let's see what I should never do. All right, let's get into it.
Skateboarders tend to be pretty diverse. They come from all sorts of backgrounds and upbringings, and because of this, they don't always see eye to eye. In this video, we're going to go over the biggest debates in skateboarding. Now, I generally like to hear your guys' feedback in the comments because there's a lot of these that I'm still unsure about myself, but I do ask that everyone keeps things civil because, after all, it's just skateboarding. As always, if I left anything out, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Do me a favor and leave a like on the video. Check out the links in the description. And with that said, let's get right into it.
Yo, hold up. Did I just see Bill and Ted? Hold up. Yo, that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite movies. It's like the dumbest movie ever. It's just like so funny.
Go ahead and leave it in the comments. Do me a favor and leave a like on the video. Check out the links in the description. And with that said, let's get right into it. Now, before we go too far, I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. If you've ever had a good idea for a project or company, Squarespace is the perfect place to start. Whether you're launching a new skate company, starting a clothing brand, or hosting a photography website, Squarespace makes the process as easy as possible. They have a ton of templates for you to choose from, so you don't need to be some specialized web developer to build your own website. It's super simple to customize templates or add widgets, so you can really craft your site to suit your own needs. They have all the tools you could possibly need for an online store, and they provide useful analytics that can actually help you grow your business. Seriously, if you've ever wanted to build a website or start a company, it really can't get much easier. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/skatebox to save 10% on your first purchase of—
Actually, that brings me to the intro. This video is sponsored by myself. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, Squarespace, I'm here too. You can sponsor me too. I'll talk. Please. I'm broke.
a website or domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. By far, one of the biggest debates in skateboarding is skating with headphones. Thanks to smartphones and AirPods, this is an argument that's only gotten worse over time. There's some skaters who enjoy listening to music while they skate, and rather than using a portable speaker, they just wear earbuds instead. The thing is, tons of skaters find this rude and annoying since people with headphones can't hear what's going on around them. This means they're far more likely to accidentally run into someone or just ignore people who are trying to talk to them simply because they can't hear. For a lot of people, skateboarding is a social activity, and when you can't hear someone, it removes that element.
Well, I don't really care. It's only a problem when they have noise canceling on and they could run into like a scooter kid or little Timmy and let's say knock little Timmy out, or something bad could possibly go wrong, like snaking somebody. Like then it becomes a problem. Just please don't put your headphones on like noise canceling, because I had a problem with that when somebody was at the skate park. They had their headphones on noise canceling, so they couldn't hear anything. So that means like they like snaked me like 50 times, and like I didn't want to be like a Karen skater, like please take out your headphones, blah blah blah. But yeah, that kind of ruined it for me a little bit, but I still enjoyed what I had, I guess.
What I've seen, the only caveat to skating with headphones is when you're skating by yourself. If a person is having a solo session, then headphones aren't as frowned upon, but that seems to be the only exception.
How you doing? You having fun skating? Yeah, me too, man.
The second major argument among skaters is wearing clothes made by designer brands. Clothing styles have always had a major impact in skateboarding, and recently there's been a big trend of people skating in designer clothes. As far as the debate goes, there's a lot of reasons why skaters argue about this. A large majority of skaters think designer clothes look stupid, and it's mostly just done as a flex because designer clothes aren't really practical to skate in. On the other hand, some skaters think it looks cool, and they like to add more mainstream fashion into skating, even if it's not the most functional. Again, for the longest time, skateboarders have argued about clothes in general, but things have definitely gotten worse since people started skating in designer. The third
Yeah, I'm like, if you skate in like designer clothing, I feel like sometimes that's a flex. But like, if you just do it, I'm like, and like not bother anybody, unless it's like something really dumb, like you're wearing like a balloon suit or something dumb like that. Just just skate in normal clothes, man. It's not that hard. Like, come on, dude. Just put on your toy machine shirt and just go skate, like I do, bro.
thing that skaters argue about are non-skate sponsors. From the very beginning, skateboarding has always been rooted
No. This is stupid. This is stupid. It doesn't matter, dude. If I got sponsored by like Mountain Dew, I would be happy. I love Mountain Dew. Diet Mountain Dew is wonderful. I think Diet tastes better than the original. If you have a problem with that, have a problem. Guess what? I don't care. It's good. You gotta get a diet, like, okay, I'm going off topic, but if you go to a gas station, you gotta get a double-decker fudge round with Diet Mountain Dew. If you go to my Discord and join my Discord, literally the bot's name is literal double-decker fudge round. The most useful role that I can give you is double-decker fudge round. That's how much I love double-decker fudge rounds, and they're delicious. So yeah, I don't even care what he says. It's true. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you skate for. You could skate for Star Wars, all I matter. Like,
in counterculture. For example, when any major corporation tries to get into skateboarding,
Mountain Dew.
They're normally met with a ton of skepticism. Because of this, when skaters work with non-skateboarding companies, in the eyes of core skaters, they're often seen as a sellout.
Hardcore street skaters be like, man, you did a right car commercial, you sold out. You know what? I'm going to sell out again because they just asked me to do another one and they gave me $1 million for one day of work.
You see what Bam just said? Like, for real. Like, it's money, bro. You gotta get the money.
Wow. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go sell out again big time.
On the opposite end of the argument, there's skaters out there who think that people should take whatever
See, look, Bam's over here sponsoring some deodorant stick that isn't even out anymore. Like, you don't care about that, do you?
money they can get, since skate careers are short and they can end at any moment. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think the majority of people fall somewhere in the middle. They obviously
I think I saw that Tony Hawk just car thing. That was kind of, okay, that was pretty dumb. Getting sponsored by a car is pretty dumb.
prefer that people skate for actual skate companies, but they're okay with a few non-skate sponsors as long as it's a decent product and the skater isn't compromising their morals.
He handed me a check for $4 million.
Oh!
That happened.
Wow.
Moving on, we have the frontside overcrook debate. This one seems to have died down a bit, but there's still plenty of people who argue about it. For those who don't know, a lot of people think that frontside overcrooks aren't a trick, since when someone tries to frontside nose grind a rail, they naturally get into an overcrook. Other people argue that not everyone does that, and there are some people who do nose grinds without going into overcrook, so frontside nose grind and frontside overcrook.
Yeah, those are two different tricks. Yeah, because that's a nose is when you like stay forward. Overcrook is when you like rotate. No, yeah, overcrook's a trick. There's no way.
Are definitely two separate tricks.
Yeah, those are two separate. Bro, come on.
Mom, what's that?
I'm just giving all y'all
Get in the
sponsors
car.
now.
Let's go.
Goodness, bro.
Come on.
They also say that when someone does a backside nose grind on a rail, they naturally go into a backside crooked grind. So if a frontside overcrook isn't a trick, then technically a backside crooked grind isn't a trick either.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point, I'm not sure if this debate has ever been settled definitively, but for the time being, it does seem to have died down.
You can clearly see the board going off to the side versus this, you can clearly see the board is parallel. I think these are two individually separate tricks that are separate.
Next, we have arguing over what the best brands are. The skateboarding market has become saturated with
This is dumb, and I bet he's gonna talk about this, but like mostly if y'all are like, Toy Machine's better than Girl, or Girl's better than Toy Machine. First off, Toy Machine's better. But anyways, that's like you're going off of graphics basically. Don't tell me the shape's better, blah blah blah. I don't know for sure, but I think Girl and like there's brands there's only a little bit of skateboard shops in the world that make the shape. So that means that girl and toy machine could be made at the same shops. Like, yeah, if graphics better, you can give me all that crap. But if you give me the shape, the concave, I like how the concave is. No, that's dumb, okay? Just move on, buddy. That's a dumb comparison. If he talks about this, he's kind of right. I'm like, I can't explain as good as he can.
With tons of niche brands for every product you can imagine. There's dozens of different board companies, wheel companies, truck companies, and shoe companies, and skaters are constantly arguing over which one is the best. The funny thing about this debate is that most skate products only come from a handful of factories.
Exactly.
Even though there's tons of skate companies, there's only a few factories that produce the majority of skate supplies. This means if you're arguing that company A makes better boards than company B, there's a good chance that they actually come from the same factory. Now, don't get me wrong, some products do have advantages over others, but at the same time, a lot of it really just comes down to preference. The next argument skaters have is whether or not skateboarding is a sport. Now that skateboarding is in the Olympics, this is an argument that's gotten a lot more attention.
I don't feel like skateboarding is a sport at all.
Right.
Not one bit.
There's one camp of people who are convinced that skateboarding is a sport, and there's another camp that's convinced that it isn't. Basically, a lot of skaters think that since skateboarding is scored in competitions, it should be considered a sport.
My opinion, I mean, like, you can do whatever you want. Some people love the challenge of the sport, but I kind of think it's like an art more than a sport, because I think the other video you can go check, I love how he put it, but the other guy said that it's in the Olympics, but it's banned, like there's skate stoppers and stuff around it. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, so that's why I don't really think it's a sport, but you can have your own opinion.
Other skaters feel that making something a competition shouldn't be the only criteria for a sport, because technically you can create a scoring system for basically anything. For example, you can score anything from finger painting to underwater basket weaving, but generally speaking, neither of those would be considered a sport. The idea is that sports are physical activities that require a scoring system in order to play them, but since skateboarding doesn't require a scoring system, it's not actually a sport. The thing is, unlike some of the other arguments on this list, this one is hard.
Well, I'm just glad it's a sport because I can watch it on TV now. That's the only thing I really enjoy about it being a sport.
Hard to give an exact answer to. I'm not going to weigh in on it one way or the other, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think in the comments. Another major skateboarding debate is about cross-pinching your grinds. In skateboarding, there are three main ways you can grind a rail. You can heel pinch, where your heels are parallel, you can toe pinch, where your toes are parallel, or you can cross pinch, where you lock in with your front truck and your back truck diagonal. Technically, there's also reverse cross pinch, but that's solely reserved for psychopaths. Now, the bulk of the debate here is whether or not cross pinching your grinds is considered cheating. The argument is that whenever you cross pinch, you have a perpendicular stance, which makes balancing way easier than heel pinch or toe pinch. It's similar to how some people argue whether it's okay to drag your tail on a 5-0 or your nose on a nose grind, since realistically speaking, it makes it much easier to balance. People on the other side of the argument will say that it doesn't matter.
I don't have an opinion on this, but I think the tail grind is, like, in nose is better. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so I don't really understand that. I'm not really big into, I don't really care.
Matter if it's easier, because either way, you're still doing the grind. The cross pinch argument is somewhat new because cross pinching really just got popular in the past few years, so it might be a while before anyone comes to a conclusion.
The cross up is a feeble grind, and feeble grinds are so easy that the back 50 was like, wait a minute, this is as easy as a feeble grind now? And then now you have what kids are doing today.
Yeah.
Summer is back,
Man,
along with Chipotle honey chicken,
sponsor.
fresh grilled chicken, seared peppers, and pure honey. Chipotle heat balanced with a perfect touch of sweet. Chipotle honey chicken is back, just in time for summer.
Creating custom clothing with Tap Stitch is simple. Start by choosing a garment.
How many
then
ads
click
are on
Design Now.
So next up, we have the gatekeeping argument. To understand this argument, it's important to understand skateboarders in general. Skateboarders usually fit into one of two camps: core skaters and casual skaters. Core skaters live, breathe, and sleep skateboarding, and it encompasses most of their life. Casual skateboarders only skate as a hobby, and it's not something they base their entire life around. When it comes to gatekeeping, core skaters tend to follow certain rules and guidelines within skateboarding, and they usually reject anything that goes against them. This isn't to say there's an official rulebook or anything, but there's general guidelines that they think people should follow. Alternatively, casual skaters feel like anything should go, and there shouldn't be any rules or guidelines. So for example, they feel like the sponsors you ride for don't matter, the way you dress or the tricks you do don't matter, and overall, it should really just be anything goes. In a nutshell, core skaters feel like a certain level of gatekeeping is necessary to maintain a healthy skate culture. Casual skaters tend to be the opposite, and they tend to take the stance that no one should be labeled a kook or a poser, and instead, everyone should be welcomed regardless. As skateboarding has gotten more mainstream, this is an argument that's come up a lot more frequently, and it's probably not going away anytime soon. Another big disagreement
Now, calling a person a poser, yeah, people can be posers. That's real.
skaters have is on the names of tricks. The funny thing about this one is that it's not really clear cut like some of the others. Without getting too specific, skaters are constantly arguing about the names of tricks. It doesn't matter if it's flat ground, or grinds, or grabs, or slides. It seems like skaters are always arguing over what you call a trick. I will say, this debate is somewhat understandable because there's a lot of skate tricks out there, so it can be hard to keep up. It's important to remember though that when it comes to skateboarding trick names, it's a naturally confusing topic, so try not to get too heated about it. The next argument in skateboarding is about wearing pads and a helmet. Since skateboarding is this underground thing that's supposed to be dangerous and rebellious, the majority of skateboarders don't wear protective gear. Most skaters think they're uncomfortable, and they also don't like the way they look. The only
Yeah, I look like dumb as heck in a helmet, but like I just do it because it keeps me safe and it makes me comfortable. Yippee!
time you ever really see skaters wear pads is when they're skating vert. When people skate vert, it's seen as more acceptable to wear pads since you tend to hit the ramp a lot more often and they're kind of necessary to slide down the ramp when you kick out. Recently though, there's been a few people who've started wearing a helmet and pads when they street skate, which has caused some ripples in the skate community. Now, for the most part, skaters don't really care if someone else wears pads and a helmet. With that said, there are some people who do hate on others for doing it. This is partially because it takes away a lot of the risk of skating, but it's also just because of how it looks. As of now, there's not a ton of people who skate with a helmet and pads, so this isn't the biggest debate in skateboarding, but it is something that people have argued about in the past.
Were you wearing the helmet back then?
Yeah.
So ever since you started skating, you were wearing...
Yeah.
Since skateboarding is such a nuanced thing, naturally people are going to argue about it. It's good to keep in mind though that at the end of the day, it's just skateboarding, so regardless of the debate, you shouldn't take it too seriously. If you feel like anything was left out,
I'm like, yeah, like what they said, I don't think skateboarding has any rules, basically. Like, I feel like it's kind of like a free thing. So just enjoy it. I'm like, there's nothing you can do wrong. I don't think. Well, yeah, I don't think there's nothing you can really do wrong. But anyways, I'm Davis, and I like skating and 3D printing. Have a wonderful, fantastic, tubular day. All right.